In the quiet, seemingly peaceful suburban neighborhood of Willow Creek, life appeared perfect on the surface. Manicured lawns, freshly painted houses, and neighbors who exchanged polite hellos during weekend barbecues painted a picture of harmony. But beneath this calm veneer simmered a growing tension, one that no one wanted to openly admit. At the center of it all was Karen, a middle-aged woman with a sharp tongue and an even sharper sense of entitlement. For years, she had been a dominant voice in the Homeowners Association, HOA, using her position to control community decisions and maintain what she called standards. But lately, her control had started to slip. The cause of her unraveling was none other than Lisa, the new neighbor who had recently moved in next door. Lisa was everything Karen was not: young, charismatic, and effortlessly likable. She had a warm smile that brightened the street and a friendly attitude that quickly earned her the favor of many Willow Creek residents. It didn't help that Lisa was also active in the HOA, speaking up for causes like community gardening and neighborhood safety, which resonated deeply with the other residents. Karen watched in growing frustration as Lisa's influence in the HOA meetings began to eclipse her own. Her carefully maintained image as the neighborhood's moral guardian was threatened by Lisa's fresh ideas and genuine popularity. What started as mild annoyance soon twisted into bitter jealousy. Karen couldn't stand the thought of losing her grip on the neighborhood she had ruled for so long. Driven by this jealousy, Karen began to plot a way to destroy Lisa's reputation and reclaim her power. After some online searching, she discovered an AI photo generator tool capable of creating hyper-realistic images. With growing excitement and no small amount of malice, Karen decided to use this technology to fabricate nude photos of Lisa, photos that were completely fake but disturbingly real-looking. Late into the night, Karen worked meticulously, feeding the AI images of Lisa from social media and tweaking the results until she had what she wanted: explicit photos that looked authentic enough to fool anyone. Feeling triumphant, she anonymously emailed the doctored images to the HOA board, hinting at a scandal that could bring shame to Lisa and disrupt the community harmony. Karen was convinced that this would be her ultimate victory. She imagined the shock and outrage that would spread, picturing Lisa's influence evaporate and her own authority restored. But what Karen didn't realize was that her dark plan would soon spiral out of control in ways she never expected, and the consequences would threaten to ruin not just Lisa, but Karen herself. The morning after Karen sent the fabricated nude photos, Willow Creek was anything but peaceful. The anonymous email with the scandalous images spread like wildfire among the HOA members and a few residents. Gossip bubbled up in hushed whispers at neighborhood barbecues and online community forums. Lisa's name was dragged through the mud, and the once friendly streets felt colder, harsher. Lisa woke to the nightmare herself when her phone exploded with calls and messages, many laced with venomous accusations and hurtful words. She couldn't believe the photos were fake, yet, the damage was done. Her reputation was stained, and she felt isolated, betrayed by neighbors she once called friends. She had never imagined that a peaceful community could turn into a battlefield. Determined to clear her name, Lisa contacted the HOA board immediately. But instead of support, she met skepticism and cold shoulders. A few board members, wary of controversy, hesitated to openly back her, fearing backlash or scandal for the community. Lisa realized she was fighting a lonely battle against a web of suspicion and gossip. Meanwhile, Karen watched from the sidelines with a smug satisfaction, convinced her plan was working perfectly. But Karen underestimated Lisa's resilience and the unexpected allies Lisa quietly gathered. A tech-savvy neighbor, Mark, suspected something was off and offered to analyze the photos. After a thorough digital forensic check, Mark confirmed the images were AI-generated fakes, cleverly crafted to harm Lisa's reputation. Armed with proof, Lisa decided to fight back. She filed a formal complaint with the HOA and threatened legal action against whoever was responsible for the defamation. The mood in the neighborhood shifted dramatically. Supporters rallied around Lisa, demanding transparency and justice. Karen's carefully constructed facade started to crack. The HOA held an emergency meeting to address the scandal. Tensions ran high as accusations flew and secrets emerged. Karen tried to maintain her composure, but inside she was trembling, realizing that her reckless gamble might cost her everything. The once powerful queen of Willow Creek was now in the hot seat, facing scrutiny from her own community. The fallout from Karen's malicious act was far from over. What started as a dirty trick had unleashed a storm of suspicion, anger, and fear. And as Lisa fought to reclaim her dignity, Karen's world was unraveling, proving that sometimes, the darkest schemes can backfire in the most unexpected ways. After the HOA board received the fake photos, the neighborhood exploded in whispers and speculation. Karen felt triumphant, convinced that her plan had worked perfectly. The neighbors who had once supported her rival now questioned her credibility, and the board meetings became tense and divided. However, Karen's victory was short-lived. Unbeknownst to her, the neighbor she targeted was not going to take the accusation lying down. He quickly hired a skilled attorney specializing in defamation and digital forensics. The lawyer immediately began investigating the origins of the photos. Using advanced tools, they confirmed the images were digitally altered, AI-generated fakes. This revelation shocked the HOA board members once they were presented with undeniable proof. The board called an emergency meeting to address the situation. Karen was confronted with the evidence, and many of her supporters began to doubt her honesty. The atmosphere shifted from suspicion to outrage. The HOA president expressed disappointment, warning Karen that her actions could have severe legal consequences, including a defamation lawsuit. Karen's world began to crumble. What started as an attempt to ruin a rival had turned into a legal nightmare. She faced not only the loss of trust from her neighbors but also the threat of being sued for damages. Her reputation was tarnished beyond repair. The story quickly spread beyond the neighborhood, making its way onto social media, where many condemned Karen's deceitful behavior. Meanwhile, the targeted neighbor gained sympathy and support, becoming a symbol of standing up against false accusations. The HOA board initiated stricter guidelines to prevent future malicious acts. Karen's plan to sabotage her neighbor backfired spectacularly, teaching her a painful lesson about the dangers of manipulation and deceit in a tight-knit community. The fallout from the emergency HOA meeting was swift and unforgiving. Karen's standing in the neighborhood plummeted almost overnight. Many neighbors who once supported her now openly shunned her, refusing to attend any events where she was present. The social fabric of the community began to tear at the seams, with people taking sides and old friendships strained under the weight of the scandal. Karen, desperate to salvage what little reputation she had left, tried to apologize publicly. However, her apologies felt hollow and insincere to most. The damage had been done, and trust was broken. Legal notices soon followed, as the neighbor filed a defamation lawsuit against Karen. The lawsuit cited emotional distress, damage to reputation, and intentional infliction of harm through deceit. The court case drew significant media attention. Local news outlets picked up the story, painting Karen as a cautionary tale of how far one might go for petty neighborhood power struggles. Social media exploded with debates, memes, and heated discussions about privacy, AI ethics, and the dangers of fake digital content. Karen's legal team advised her to settle quickly to avoid further damage, but Karen, stubborn and defiant, insisted on fighting the charges. She claimed she had done nothing wrong and that the photos were misunderstood. This stance only worsened public opinion against her. Meanwhile, the neighbor worked tirelessly with his lawyer to expose not only the faked photos but also Karen's pattern of harassment and manipulation in the community. Evidence of previous conflicts and attempts to discredit others surfaced, building a strong case against her. The HOA board took steps to tighten community guidelines, including implementing policies on digital evidence and social media conduct. The scandal became a turning point for the neighborhood, reminding everyone how quickly trust can be shattered and how important integrity is in maintaining a peaceful community. Karen's fight was no longer just about winning a HOA seat. It had become a battle for her very reputation and future in the neighborhood. The once confident Karen was now facing the harsh reality of legal battles, social exile, and the long road to redemption, if redemption was even possible. As the court proceedings moved forward, Karen's world continued to unravel. The judge, after reviewing the overwhelming evidence, ruled decisively against her. Karen was ordered to pay substantial damages to her neighbor for defamation, emotional distress, and legal fees. The court also mandated a public apology, which Karen grudgingly issued, though many saw it as forced and insincere. The verdict marked a turning point. Karen's reputation was irreparably damaged, and she became a symbol of what not to do in a tight-knit community. Neighbors who once tolerated her antics distanced themselves completely. HOA meetings became more respectful and focused on community building rather than drama and power plays. Karen tried to rebuild her life but found it challenging. Doors closed in her face, invitations stopped coming, and trust was nearly impossible to regain. The scandal taught the entire neighborhood a harsh lesson about the dangers of false accusations and the power, and peril, of modern technology like AI. Meanwhile, her neighbor, though shaken by the ordeal, found peace and support from the community. His resilience and dignity in the face of adversity earned him respect and sympathy from many. In the end, Karen's attempt to manipulate and deceive not only failed but backfired spectacularly. The drama that began as a petty neighborhood dispute evolved into a cautionary tale about ethics, respect, and the consequences of using technology irresponsibly. The HOA community vowed to work together to prevent similar incidents in the future, emphasizing kindness, honesty, and the importance of standing up for the truth. Karen's story served as a powerful reminder: in a world where digital lies can spread quickly, integrity remains the most valuable currency of all.